I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey
What's
guys!
up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Well, again, kind of on AfterBuzz TV. We're not physically in the studio today, unfortunately, due to everything going on with the coronavirus, but we are bringing this show to you anyways from our respective homes. And boy, do we have an amazing show for you here today. To start things off, I am your host and super fan of this show, Brandon Hanna, and I am joined by the same extraordinary panel as always. Starting with, she's normally to my immediate left, but it's the amazing voice actor, Kittie Kaboom.
What up, everybody? So glad you tuned in. We have a guest, like we're important and everything.
Yes, we do have an amazing guest for you today. But before we get to that amazing guest, let's get over to Miss Emily May.
Hi.
Hello, yes. And of course, last but not least on our amazing panel, we have the one, the only, Amir Yassai.
Hello, my friend Kapil is here.
Yay!
Yay!
Yes.
Was that a raise the roof move right there, bro?
Yes, it
Are we
was.
doing that? Are we doing that?
There he is. That's our amazing special guest for today, Kapil Talwalkar.
Yes, it is.
How's it
Yeah,
going, guys?
baby.
Happy to be here. This is so exciting. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God,
We are
your
super
solo
excited
was
to have you.
everything.
The solo. Oh, thanks, Amir. Thank you, man.
It
That's so
was.
sweet. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff happened this episode, right?
Yeah,
Lot-
there's a
Yes.
lot.
Quite
Yeah,
a
this
bit.
was an amazing episode, and we're so happy to have you on, Kapil. It truly is an amazing honor, especially with this episode featuring your character, Tobin, so heavily. And I know the panel here has some questions they would like to ask you up front. Let's start off with Emily May.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to know how the process of what was the process to audition for this type of role, and then what kind of background did you have to help prepare for like this fun kind of musical theater show in a big network setting?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. The audition for the show was kind of crazy. It was very last minute. It was like at 5 p.m. on a Friday. And my manager was like, hey, here's 5 pages of sides of just a bunch of jokes. They also want you to do All I Do Is Win. And they want you to do the ludicrous rap verse in it. And they also want you to like sing a song that is like a rock song because you're going to be singing in the show. I was like, okay, let me just go jump off a cliff because
That's amazing.
because that sounds insane. But surprisingly, so like and like it all felt very last minute, but I guess they were like kind of pushed to find the right person for the part. And so I went in at like 8 p.m. And I did the scenes for the pilot, which was just like, there's a bunch of Tobin jokes being, kind of a little bit of a dick bag. And and then
A little bit. Just a little bit.
and was that
I said just a little bit.
just a little bit of a dick bag?
Just a little bit, yeah. Yeah, we weren't sure about your character in the beginning.
Yeah, here's the thing. I know that like when I read it, I was like, wow, this guy sucks. But like, I feel like if I found a reason within myself to be like, okay, here's the silver lining of this person. I want to make it so that he's just so oblivious to what he's saying. That's like, oh, he's so led astray. Like, it's actually funny how much he believes that like this is the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the angle I went in the audition, bringing it back to that. And then I sang the ludicrous verse where, what's so funny about that? Because in the which was ended up being cut from the pilot, but it was like a ludicrous going in on the verse and all that stuff. And like when you turn your car on and sometimes your car just plays the first song in your iPod.
Yeah.
And because All I Do Is Win, it wasn't even my song. It was like my sister had put it in my iPod.
Yeah.
For years. It was like always the first song.
Nice.
Always. So I had the ludicrous rap memorized.
That's
Oh,
Yes.
So it was meant to be.
It was so in a weird way. It was meant to be. And they're like, how is he not even reading the rap? It's so crazy. And so I did the rap, and then I brought my guitar and I sang Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Aww.
And I just knew I knew in the room that like I had a really good shot because I was there for a long time.
Mhm.
And I think Robert Ulrich, the casting director, was getting texts from the showrunner like adjustments to the scene. So I knew that I was doing a good job. And then the next morning I knew I booked it, and then I was on a flight and I had a table read later that evening for all of NBC. Literally, it was the entire cast. And
shut up.
I know, it was insane. We were all in a room, in this tiny room with like a bunch of producers, and we got cameras shoved in our face. And I'm like, how am I gonna act like this?
It's crazy.
And
you killed it though.
Thank you. But yeah,
that's amazing. You kind of have to block it all out, right? And just go for it.
Block it all out, and you're like, just do the joke and hope it's funny. And funny enough, like no one laughed at the first one, and I was like, okay, well, I'm fired. That's
right.
You're like, done.
Well, it's been a great run. You know, time to go home, pack up, go to San Jose, California.
Right.
So how important do you feel Tobin is to kind of the whole storytelling of Zoey's kind of the show as a whole? And then how do you think this show is changing network television?
I think that's both amazing questions. I think Tobin creates the atmosphere for Zoey to have some sort of a problem, to have something to go up against. That if it's too easy for her, if it's like, oh well, you know, she's got it great at work, what are you talking about? We feel less for the stuff that she, like, why she needs her power, at least in the workplace, right? So I think that's the sort of tool, especially in the beginning of the show, that my character sort of serves. And then in this episode, you get to know a little bit more about my character in general. But and then why this show is so good for network television, because of the representation. First of all, seeing
totally.
You know, Black representation, Indian representation. We got Latin representation this week, and LGBTQ plus representation, which is wonderful, and done in the most, like, our showrunner is so thoughtful that he'll like sit down with you and he'll like talk about, like, there was some stuff even in this episode I was like, actually, like, I think the immigrant experience is not exactly like this. It would be more like this. And he's like, yeah, all right, let's work with it, let's change it. Like,
that is so cool.
That's so amazing to hear, especially on a big network, that they take the time to do that and really get it right. Yeah, and get it right. Yeah. And it's still emotional every time you see these storylines unravel in their show. It definitely touches, touches your heart.
It's very thoughtful. And Kapil, I was actually in the spelling bee, and my parents are immigrants, and that was literally what they said. Learn all the words. And I was in the Orange County finalist. So yeah, I was a spelling bee.
So what was funny is, like, the line was originally like, because they had like gotten it, like, done the research to get it like 5 degrees ish wrong. The line was like, my parents made me learn every word in the language because they knew I'd never fit in. And I was like, that's not totally right, because the immigrant experience is you want to fit in, you want your kids to like do well in this new country. So it's like Austin, I was like, what if it's this? And he's been so open and so like, yes, like 100%, like, you know it better than I do. So,
well done.
So yeah, so like, I'm glad that you related to that.
I did.
That's just so rare too. It's such a great opportunity to be able to work with somebody like, I respect your words. I know you wrote this coming from a standpoint of just being open and trying your best to not assimilate, but at least to try to understand the POV. And then you share something, they go, oh my gosh, like, I had no idea. Let's do it. You know, as opposed to, are you sure? You know, there's always pushback because they think they know better, even when they have no idea. You know what I mean?
It's been so collaborative in every single sort of department of the show, music, writing, everything. So it's been great.
That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
That's amazing. And we're getting a lot of live comments. I just want to read a couple of them, which is why I had my head down.
Oh, no. Okay.
Rachel Silvestrini is saying, hold up, Capilla's from San Jose, California too. Are you?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay. People have done their research, honey. Okay. Everyone's saying congrats to the show. We love Kapil. People are going off. So Ivan is saying very cool. And then Rachel's also saying the show does a gorgeous job representing everyone and is an actual snapshot of San Francisco. So these are all great feedback from the internet.
That's wonderful.
Amen.
Yeah. I mean,
love all that.
Like, you know, it's also like, I know what it was kind of like growing up in that sort of atmosphere.
Right. Absolutely. Awesome.
And Amir, you had some questions for Kapil as well.
I do. Okay, perfect. Well, I'll just keep talking then. That's fine. I love to talk. So what I wanted to ask you, Kapil knows. Before we jump in, Ivan Soto was asking, do they film? He's one of our most committed fans. Ivan's asking, does it film in Vancouver or where do you guys film?
No, we film in Vancouver.
Oh, great. Okay. So Ivan knows. Great. I knew Ivan knew. So speaking about Vancouver,
Googleable, Ivan.
What did you say?
I was like, Ivan, it's Googleable, bro.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Do you do the NBC backlot at all?
No, although I think there's like some production stuff that happens on the backlot, but most of the stuff
Most of it's
in Vancouver, yeah.
So Kapil, obviously I know when you were first kind of going to film, you were like a little hesitant about, obviously you're meeting new people, you have a new cast, you have a new crew. So what are the dynamics? Obviously I kind of know already, but I'd love to hear it from you. Kind of like who you connected with most and who's kind of your confidant on set, etc.
So my confidant and one of my best friends in the world is Skylar. Like I was literally, his family was like live texting every moment of the thing, and I'm on this like chat, and like they were rooting for me just as much as they would root for Skylar even. So
sweet.
And I got like message from his parents, and like it's just like, so he and I, like I went to his place for Thanksgiving, like he and I are so yeah, no, he's the best, and
that's
has
really
really
sweet.
been in my corner, being such an established actor already, and like but besides that, we just get along. Like we just have the same sense of humor. We like laugh at find the same stuff funny. Like like we're like, are you seeing this shit? Like, okay, cool. You too. So we, like, he's just that person for me. And like I knew that like literally 2 days into, like when we shot the pilot, he was actually, funny enough, he had watched me in a play that I did in LA called Radiant Vermin, where where I played like 20 different characters, and like I was on stage for like 2 hours.
Nice.
And it was like a real like showcase of like what I can do. And so he watched that, and he came to watch that, and I actually had like seen him from like Pitch Perfect, obviously, but when I came in, he was the one who was like, "Hey, you're the guy who did Radiant Vermin. Oh my God." And he
What?
everybody in the cast about how amazing I was. And like he was gonna be my +1 when I got nominated for that show, for the award show, for the Ovation Awards. Like he's like, just, it's been great, but the whole cast really, like besides him, like when we filmed the pilot, my birthday was like the first weekend right after that table read. Like that table read was happened on a Saturday, and then the following Friday was like my birthday. So we didn't know each other, but I was like, hey, like I'm not in town to celebrate with my friends. Would you guys be my friends? And so Alex and Jane and John and Michael and me, we all went out karaokeing, which by the way is some of the most intimidating shit to deal with. You have
That is
Broadway and professional singers karaokeing. I'm like, you beat the game. You beat the game.
What was your go-to karaoke song?
Funny enough, my go-to karaoke song. Okay, well, this is gonna be so. It was Light My Fire by The Doors, because my cast was like, you know that it would be untrue.
Yes.
Go, baby, go off.
And so like I went old school, but like Alex was singing Queen Bee all night, and I was all like, yo, I still have videos from that night. So like I pull it up, it was like, yo, you guys won't believe this shit. That was one of the craziest nights. And we all bonded so much just off of that. And so immediately there was a sense of connection between all of us, just because it was like we came together to, to like just like get to know each other, and like it was so awesome to celebrate my birthday.
I love that.
That's so amazing.
That is so awesome.
So maybe the panel keeps saying that we would all do karaoke at some point. We keep saying
best thing to bring people together.
Exactly. We're gonna have to do it.
Start to finish. We have to do it.
Like nothing brings you more closer.
No, we're gonna invite you too. You're gonna come along.
Yeah.
You're gonna be intimidated by all of our pipes.
I know, right?
I doubt that.
All right, I see you, Emily.
Right, Emily, you jumping out there. Be careful, girl.
I love
Be
that.
Careful. Okay.
No,
So
that is
Amir,
awesome. I have one more question for you. Even though you said that Skylar is your best friend in the world, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna be an adult. I'm gonna rise above that. I'm gonna rise above, and I'm gonna ask my next question. I'm just joking. So, Kapil, I don't know if you can speak about it, but I know you have a role that you're excited about that's upcoming. That's gonna be on Netflix. Can we ask you about it? Can you talk about it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's for now. It's for the show called Special.
Yeah.
It was supposed to I was supposed to go through with it and shoot it actually around this time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tomorrow literally was my first day of
Oh
shooting.
wow. Sure.
Obviously because of the pandemic,
right?
The
Rona got us, and
yes, it did.
And so I can't do that, but again, I love that show, Special.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, again, in terms of representation, amazing. In terms of just, again, a sense of humor that's really witty, and giving Ryan O'Connell, who's so smart, and he's such a young, fresh writer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to have his he's a young perspective on a 30-minute tight sitcom is just is so refreshing. And,
super refreshing.
I hope that once this whole thing's over, that I get to go back and do it.
I hope so. It's a great show.
Premise?
Yeah, so it's about a queer guy has cerebral palsy and is kind of dating, and so that's kind of the premise for anyone that doesn't know. And the first season is available on Netflix. So
nice.
This is the time to binge.
Yes.
So first season.
I can't wait.
Netflix. It's so good, you guys. You got to go check that show. It's so good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll support anything you do, boo.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I have some questions. Can I jump in there?
Please,
yes,
it's all you.
Okay, so you kind of already answered this one, and because I've heard you saying, you answered it, but I just want to know, did you know going in? Well, I guess you did. Your manager told you that you had to be prepared to do this, that, and the third. But did you know that you had to sing, take them to church sing? Or did you think that you could just go in and be like, I can carry a tune, I'll be fine? Or did you know you had to Beyonce their asses?
I did my most challenging song, for sure.
Yeah.
I did Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and I did it in the original Freddie Mercury key. And I did it, and I came up with a couple riffs.
Yes.
That I was okay, this is I'll see if this works. I think
there you go. Put it all out there, baby.
Yeah, because I'll
put it all out there.
Exactly. If I'm gonna go in and do it, I have to really go and do it. So I went all out, and it was and I know that they probably wanted more of a rock tenor rather than the Doors.
Right.
So I challenged myself, and it paid off. Yeah, paid off. It paid off. Yeah.
So cool. Okay. No, we have to ask. Obviously, tonight's episode gave us more insight into this whole team this versus team that. Yeah. And obviously, you know how it ends. But going into it, as it was unfolding, were you team Max or were you team Simon?
There's moments that I'm so. Here's the thing: with holding my Skylar bias aside, because obviously, but I love John's work on the show. I think he brings so much swag.
Okay.
I think he brings so much swag, and he brings so much power and truth and depth, and he's so he's very soulful, and he's like that as a person too. When you get to meet him, you immediately you're into a really powerful conversation about yourself, and I'm wow, John, I don't know how you just got all my walls down.
Right.
I love that. I love that aspect of him. So when the show definitely started out, I was very team Simon. I was yo, this guy's got a lot of swag. He's so approachable. He's just cool. I thought that Max had a lot more walls up, and he was just a nice guy who was just the sweet best friend. And then episode 6, where he's Max is singing to her outside that window. I'm yo. I'm all in.
Who knew, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, you guys remember that moment? That was so like iconic. It's gonna be iconic, really.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. I was definitely all in at that moment too.
Right?
Yeah.
What a guy. Like, he's just by that street lamp too.
I know, that was so perfect. Setting, everything about it was very special. I think people really, it resonated with a lot of people that like have a crush or somebody that they genuinely like, and they are not necessarily getting the reciprocity that they would want, you know what I mean? But they're still putting themselves out there in such a way that's like, all right, I'm trying to protect my heart, but at the same time, I can't just act like this is not happening. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
That was pretty
What do
special.
you guys think about 500 Miles Slowed Down?
It was amazing.
So
Amazing.
good.
It's
was
one of the
absolutely
best
incredible.
renditions. One of the best renditions I've heard of that song.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. Like,
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. It's just so.
Yeah, we do a special segment on this show this every week talking about our own internal musical monologues that I can't wait to get to. I chose that same version of 500 Miles for my internal monologue last week because the way Skylar sung it just completely resonated with me. And we do have a lot of Team Max stuff that we can get into. We do have a great show for you guys today. We're going to start off talking about Tobin struggling with his friendship with Leif. Kapil, I cannot wait to get your thoughts on this, your whole arc in this episode. And we have Zoey finally telling Max about her powers and the implications of that on their relationship, and Maggie, a little like, it's touching, but also kind of comedic, her trying to find Mitch a new nurse. And there was some great stuff going on there. And of course, we will get into our special segment, our own internal musical monologues, and some celebrity news and gossip regarding Kapil himself. But before we get into all of that, I do just want to briefly touch on our overall thoughts on today's episode and hopefully try to keep them brief so we can get into our topics really quick. But Emily, what were your impressions on this episode?
I mean, again, every episode gets better and better. This one I loved because we got to see more of Tobin's kind of like inner struggle with his best friend. Zoey finally came clean, and I feel like a lot of stuff was kind of unloaded. So I loved, and there was a lot more songs from new and exciting people. So I loved it.
Yeah.
Amir, what about you?
It was fabulous. And I'm telling you, this live chat is going off, and I'll get to everyone later in the show. But people are loving it. This episode, I usually watch it at home on a small TV, but I was at my parents' house, so they got a nice big TV. Watching it live was also very fun. I had so many goosebumps this episode when Tobin sang his part. Obviously, I'm biased because I love him, but like as a person, but like it was great. And then when Leif did the like I Have a Spell on You was such an iconic, I just had chills the whole episode. So it was fabulous.
Yeah, Kittie, Kaboom, what were your overall impressions?
I absolutely loved it. I love it every week. I have to, co-sign Emily. Every week, it just gets better and better. Obviously, as the story unfolds more, so many twists and turns. Every week, we have these predictions that are like multi-layered, and we think we know what's going to happen. And then you guys surprise us and pull something completely different that we didn't expect. So that was awesome. And your song was just, I don't know about the choreography. Like, I thought that was so, it reminded me of like TikTok videos. It was very just like, this is 2020, baby. We getting it in. That's how I feel.
So fresh.
That's Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore's making magic
that was
on the screen again.
Magic, no question. And then Leif's at the end, forget about it. First of all, I didn't know that white boy could sing like that. So that was very nice.
Insane.
That was no
joke. Like, wait. Me and Amir were just like, oh my gosh, is he really with the vibrato? Are you kidding me? Awesome.
That was a lot. And that load you were carrying, Kapil, that dance move, I was like, he must have a heavy load. I was like, damn. That was everything.
That's that TikTok moves, baby.
That's those TikTok moves, yo.
Right.
Yeah, you were doing some movement work there.
Yeah, so let's just get right into it, guys. First of all, this episode was very Tobin-centric. He's going through some stuff with Leif, and I know, Kapil, when you first, I guess, read the script for this episode, what were your thoughts on finally not being on the same page, Tobin and Leif not being on the same page with one another?
I thought how refreshing that we're finally talking about straight male relationships in a sensitive way. That we don't usually talk about that. Like, what an interesting angle of it's modern femininity and modern masculinity. It's like this episode is important for that because it teaches that like strength does not mean being unable to be vulnerable. It actually means that like that like men also go through that stuff, and it's okay to be that. It's okay to like just like normalizing a conversation like that happens at the end of the episode. And I think that was what was really important. And when I read it, I was like, wow, what a great theme, and what a great I mean, I'm honored to be a vessel for that. So
it was well done. And Kapil, actually, Ivan was asking a question about this. Ivan Soto, he was asking, what is your advice for dealing with toxic masculinity in like a straight male relationship? Like if he's having how do you set up an argument, or like how do you deal with that?
Okay, so I just need a little bit more information. Like in one situation that like you have friends who are representing toxic masculinity, or like you feel like they're being toxically masculine around you, or is it toxic masculinity in general?
He's saying male relationships of all. Let's see. I'm so sorry. Like he was basically saying like how do men navigate their relationship when they have an issue? Like two straight men. Like what's your advice? Like is it talking? Is it?
So actually, the hardest thing is making the first move.
Yeah.
Oftentimes there's knowing that there's no right thing to say. That knowing that like there is no right thing to say, and that putting yourself out there is actually the other person will recognize that, and trusting that they'll recognize that. And sometimes the right words don't come out, but like people get intentions, and people know like where you're coming from, and that is a starting point. Like that, I think, speaks volumes rather than what you're exactly saying.
Absolutely.
And I hope that is what gets more people to go out and just take the step and just having a conversation that is hard. Because if you set the bar so high, then people get so kind of like locked in, and like they don't want to like have that, and they want to like avoid that confrontation.
Absolutely.
But
cool.
Yeah, I feel
Awesome.
like this episode tonight with Tobin and Leif, I feel like it breaks down those stereotypes and those like negative stigmas that society has on talking about males talking about their feelings. And so they struggled with it in this episode. You could hear it in the songs, and the choice of songs were very deliberate in that. But it showed that it's okay to talk about when you're struggling, and talk about what you need to do with your friend in order to get through what you guys are getting through. And I feel like they showcase that in a really beautiful way tonight.
yes,
Yeah, as did I. I absolutely loved it when Leif, who I did not expect to make this move, totally opened his arms and was just like, bring it in, dude. You know what I mean? This is such like, we can make this okay. This doesn't have to be a thing. You know what I mean? The fact that we're talking about it is awesome, but let me like heart to heart literally show you that you're my bro. That was big, because y'all do not do that. So that was
I know. Usually it's like, what you talking about, dude? If people
touch you, hug you, what
are you talking? Like, I've been doing nothing. What do you like? No. And then like they'll give you evidence of like how they haven't been.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's like it was a big moment.
Yeah, that was a really big moment, and I'm so glad that you brought it up and you spoke about it so eloquently. It really is the heart of this episode. But really quick, before we move on to our next topic, I just want to know your thoughts, Kapil, on Joan and Leif at the end of this episode.
Right? Kim's a
trouble,
yo. What do you guys think about
it? I definitely didn't see it coming. That's for sure.
I did not
Any
see
way,
it
shape,
coming.
or form.
But it makes sense. I mean, he's all about his career, and it's such a great career step. And I think a lot of media shows women doing that, like, sleeping with someone to get ahead. And I think showing a man doing that, it's 2020. I think men do that a lot. We just don't get, we don't get kind of stigmatized for it. So I think it's a great choice.
But Amir, do you think that that's the only reason that he sang and kissed her is because he's trying to get ahead? Or do you think he like really is crushing on her?
No, because he said, I'm putting a spell on you.
Oh.
Yeah, so the song is putting a spell on you, meaning I'm going to take advantage of your current position of wanting attention, wanting like, you know, to kind of be dawdled on, because he can do that. Her husband was like, whatever, like this amazing tech genius.
Right.
He probably didn't even touch her, where he's like, I can go 3 times in one night, honey.
Okay.
So
I have mixed feelings about this scene, because the song has definitely lots of layers. You know, he's putting a spell on her, and then he had this conversation with Tobin saying, hey, I want to focus on careers and I want to focus on rising to the top of our game. So then he's kind of playing 2 sides of the coin here. And I'm not sure which direction is more important to him.
Well, he's a slickster. We already know that his intentions are never, he's not a wear my heart on my sleeve kind of guy. He definitely lets you know how he feels because he's very passive aggressive. But at the same time, it's just like, I feel like he's always got like this little master plan where he's just like, this is what I'm going to put out there. I'm going to like drop some little hints or breadcrumbs and see how they react. I'll sit back here and see how this all plays out.
Yeah.
And then I'll step in and move accordingly. He's a slickster. I don't know about that one.
Very slick.
Because Leif caused trouble when Zoey was going out for the management spot too. So there's been a past behaviors where I'm not sure I can trust him yet.
I don't know.
Question.
Yeah. And I think that once he gets in with Joan, I think he's going to really try to ice out Zoey even further.
Oh, no question. Are you kidding me? If he gets in with Joan, forget about it. Zoey can hang it up, okay? Because he didn't want her. Come on. This is the role he wanted. He wanted to have that job. He wanted to rule the whole office. He feels like he put his time in, and now he's dissing his best friend just so he can get ahead. If he is able to convince Joan to come to the dark side, forget about it. That office is done. Zoey ain't got nothing coming, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we're running a little low on time here, guys. So I think we have talked a little about Team Max and how we feel about Skylar. Very quickly, Zoey reveals her powers to Max, and that's a huge moment. There's a lot of implications for their relationship there. Obviously, Amir, do you think that Max has any shot with Zoey going forward, or do you think their friendship or their relationship could possibly be on hold for a while?
I think that I think people forget that men have a very fragile ego, and I think that we don't like to be rejected on that level. Like, if I get rejected once, I will. You could pay me $1,000 check, and I will not try again. So I think that the fact that he did a flash mob, and in the middle of the flash mob, I was like, oh my God, he's talking. Is that part of her new powers? And then I realized it's a flash mob. And then the fact that I think being dishonest with him is going to be harder for him to get over. It's not about the superpowers. It's not about her not loving him the way he needed. It's that she set him up with this whole relationship that gave him heartache just to avoid being truthful. So that kind of, I think, is going to bum him out more. But what I liked more about that whole scene was Mo telling us exactly what her powers were. She has to do it or she's going to hear it. It was broken down almost like notes in his phone. And that really helped me as a viewer be like, okay, this is what she can do.
But don't you think it's kind of dope that we unraveled that mystery a while ago? We were just like, wait, if she does this, then she has to do that. But if she doesn't do this, we kind of, so it was nice. It was almost like a confirmation. Okay, we got this. We figured this all out.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I feel like one of the most heartbreaking conversations of the evening was when they were leaving the club and Max and Zoey had that confrontation that she said all of these things and he said, well, you didn't act on them, and so you knew that I liked you, you knew all these things, and she did nothing. And so it kind of reality set in there, and I think it was a really honest conversation that was really, really well written.
I mean,
yes,
the
for sure.
Is always so
very well
done.
said.
Yeah,
very, very, very well said. I know. Let's very quickly. Let's do our special segment really quick here. Our own internal musical monologues. I know Kapil is just as excited for this one as us. So Emily, take us away.
Yes. So my inner monologue for a song that I would sing to my best friend. The song that I picked was "Lean on Me," because it's the classic song by Bill Withers. There's beautiful renditions that you can hear all over, you can just look it up on YouTube, but the lyrics are so beautiful, and it means a lot to me that you can always be there for your best friend and you can express that through song.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Yes, amazing. Kittie Kaboom. Yes,
yeah, Kittie.
Awesome. I picked Best Friend, little on the nose, I know, but I love this song because first of all, it was from Brandy, whom a lot of people don't know, which is sad, that she was singing to her little brother, Ray J. Ray J is almost now more famous than her. But the point is that the song is so poignant because you can be for anybody. And basically she says, whenever I'm down, I call on you, my friend, a helping hand, you lend me a time of need. So I'm calling on you now just to make it through. What else can I do? Don't you hear my pleas? It's just really dope. Like she's basically saying, you are my best friend, whether we're related or not. I'm going to always know that you have my back. And I have a friend like that. And I would sing her that till the cows came home. She's my dog.
Oh, that's great. What about you, Amir?
So I'm going to be a little shady. And Kittie are so nice. I'm going to be a little shady. I have a lot of gay guy friends. And listen, I'm doing Brandy as well. Brandy and Monica. The boy is mine. The boy is mine. They try to take your man, honey. So I need to put them correct.
Oh my goodness, you're acting more like Leif.
Yeah, I'm a little Leif, a little bit.
Hey, the songs don't always have to be serious. Sometimes they can be fun. And
totally
for me,
fun.
I'm on the West Coast. My best friend in the whole world, he's all the way on the East Coast. So immediately what popped into my head was so far away. Doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore? I was the one that left him though. So it is what it is. We still keep in touch. Long distance friendships, they happen sometimes, but you can keep them strong. Kapil, other than this song that you sang in tonight's episode, does any songs about friendship immediately come to mind for you?
First of all, I do want to say this, and this is going to kill you guys, but one of the songs that you guys just mentioned of the 5 or the 4 is one of the biggest numbers coming up.
Oh! We need to know.
I need to know.
You have to tell us.
And the person singing it, your mind is gonna go.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it does every week.
Well, I hear Zoey has 6 songs next week.
It's not in next week's episode.
Okay.
Not next.
Are you gonna spill?
I'm not gonna spill. I can't.
No.
I can't.
I got fired. I cannot sleep on my couch. No,
we were gonna break news, guys.
I can't.
Well, we
say.
know it's one of the 4 songs. So
It's
we
one
have
of
to
the 4
write down
songs.
the songs and just every week we're gonna be like, it's this song. We said it.
Yeah. We're just gonna have to go online
Four
after
songs.
and do some detective work for sure.
Yes. I hope it's Brandy.
One of those.
It's a good chance it's Brandy. That's 50-50.
That's true. That's true.
That is very true. I like that. We're on the same page here, but we always are. That's what's up.
Yes, we are.
I cannot confirm or deny anything. I will not say anything. I cannot give you any more hints other than that.
No problem.
Kapil
We're
is gainfully
excited.
employed by
Once you get the
NBC.
job-
We do not want to mess it up.
Exactly.
Yes.
No problems.
But that is an
about-
amazing I guess hot scoop here a little bit. And it just I guess it just goes to show how in tune we all are with the show that one of us was able to pick a song that's coming up. But also very quickly, very quickly, we're gonna do our news and gossip segment. Kapil did an amazing interview with TV Asia that you could all go check out online right now. Actually, Amir, if you don't mind, maybe tweeting out the link for that or putting it on Instagram
definitely.
for people to
there
follow.
was a quick highlight from that. Kapil talked about, because there's a lot of people that are, children of immigrants, brown parents. And I love what you talked about, wanting to know their internal monologue and wanting to kind of hear what your parents would sing. I thought that was really lovely. So that's in the interview, and I'll definitely tweet it out for sure.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Sure.
That's a great question. What their parents would sing. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really was a fantastic.
I think growing up, I was like, they kind of shielded me from a lot of their own issues that I'm sure that they were going through as parents and as just people. And so I feel that I didn't get to see that. And then I got to see them I met them as adults, and I got to meet them where they're at now. And so I think it would be really interesting to see that. And
really cool.
Yeah, and speaking of really cool, we had Gwen Stefani retweet your musical moment from the show, Kapil.
Hey!
I'm like, you know what? Coronavirus, take me now. I'm fine.
Yeah!
Don't say that.
That is so real.
I can call it a day. Gwen.
Okay. That is everything.
You need to pin it. You need to pin it to your profile so it's there forever.
I know, it really needs to be there.
So I
forever.
can look at it the first thing.
Dude, when you texted me, I'm from Orange County. She is like Orange County royalty.
Is she?
She's from Anaheim. So it's like she is like OC royalty. So you texted me earlier. Yes, I got the gospel before it came out.
Yeah.
Like I was so excited.
Because you the man, Amir. You is the man.
Dropping all the news.
Yes, honey. So that was exciting.
It's great. Man.
Yes, it was really awesome. I noticed it right away, and I was like, "Oh, this is so great!" And then immediately I got a text from Amir pointing it out to all of us, and I just know you were really excited about it too. So it was a great moment.
Trying to claim it, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good for you.
Awesome. We do have to wrap things up here, unfortunately. Kapil, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible having you on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We should, Kapil, can we ask your predictions? Just kidding.
Oh.
We already know.
No, but I will say this, Kapil, say it on camera. We're gonna do karaoke at some point, and you, brother, if you don't try to make it, we're gonna come to your house and make.
No, I'll come through. Don't worry, I'll come through.
Yes, that
We're
was
gonna all hang. We'll all hang.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome.
Gonna TikTok the hell out of that one.
Yeah, I got
Yes, we are.
Oh yeah. You're all gonna hear me sing some Backstreet Boys for sure.
Oh yeah, I'll be the
Lord.
backup dancers.
Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah, you know that's the greatest song ever made. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Well, Kittie Kaboom, where can people find you online in the meantime before we
Please
meet up
come
next
talk
week?
to me, baby. Slip into my
They can
DMs.
find me on Instagram, on Twitter. On Instagram, I'm KTalwalk, KTALWALK. On Twitter, I'm just my name, Kapil Talwalker. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome.
Nice it up.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Thank you again, Kapil, for being on. I know the whole Skype type setup can be a little difficult, but thank you for bearing with us, and it was really amazing.
It'd be awesome to come to the studio next time.
We would love
for
to
sure.
have you.
We would absolutely love to have you in the studio once this whole thing blows over.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Kapil.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Kittie Kaboom, where can people find you?
Please find me on IG at KITTIEKABOOM. And on Twitter, I'm Kittie Meow. Come holler at your girl.
All right. And Miss Emily May.
All right, you can find me on all social media platforms at Emily May Heller, and look out for some special segment content coming to you because I want to hear all of your songs.
Yeah.
Me too. And Amir.
Such a fun day. I just have to say quickly, merch with the movie blog says, "Mine's a weird choice. Kyle Quit the Band" by Tenacious D would be his song to his best friend. That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's different. I like it.
That is a very fun one. I like that. And you can find me at Amir Yass, AMIR Yass _ on Instagram. And then on TikTok, I'm just Amir Yass. I do a daily quarantine TikTok, and it's all for y'all.
We appreciate you, baby.
Definitely check that out if you haven't done so already. And I am Brandon Hanna. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BrandonHanna07. And we will see you all next week for another awesome episode of Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.